Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the voices of the times. This is Tuesday, March 29, 2022. For today's editorial, Close Encounter Sharpens Tensions in Masinloc. The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, has reported that on March 2, one of its vessels was almost sideswiped by a China Coast Guard ship in Bajo de Masinloc, or Scarborough Shoal. The Chinese ship approached within 21 yards of the BRP Malabrigo in what is described as close-distance maneuvering. Such a maneuver violated the 1972 international regulations for preventing collisions at sea, the PCG asserted. The close encounter happened at a time when more Filipino fishermen were returning to Bajo de Masinloc after being driven away by Chinese maritime authorities. Filipino fishing boats have been routinely bullied by the Chinese into leaving their traditional but contested fishing grounds in the South China Sea. In 2019, one such boat was rammed and sunk by a Chinese vessel near the reed bank. The offending ship then left the boat's crew members adrift in the open sea. They were rescued hours later by a Vietnamese fishing boat. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana condemned the cowardly action of the Chinese fishing vessel and its crew for abandoning the Filipino crew. But the overall government response was meek. The Duterte administration obviously was not risking a confrontation with Beijing. Malacanang even cast doubt on the Filipino fishers' account of their ordeal and took time to demand reparations from Chinese maritime officials. The harassment actually escalated 3 years earlier, when an arbitration ruling rejected China's claims on practically all of the South China Sea and held that the reed bank was part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Stung by the rebuke, Beijing has since been keeping foreign fishing boats out of the reed bank and Bajo de Masinloc. But from February 28 to March 5, the PCG monitored about 45 Filipino fishing boats in the waters off Bajo de Masinloc. PCG Commandant Admiral Artemio Abu said the increase is proof of our intensified efforts to safeguard Filipino fishermen, who consider fishing as their primary source of livelihood. The March 2 incident, however, is a clear sign that Beijing does not welcome the PCG's keeping a watchful eye on Philippine fishing boats. Abu said it was the fourth time since last year that PCG vessels were subjected to provocative maneuvering by Chinese ships. The behavior of the involved Chinese vessels increased the risk of collision with 4 of our capital ships, the commandant said. We are fully aware of dangerous situations at sea, but these will not stop our deployment of assets and personnel in Bajo de Masinloc, Philippine Rise, and other parts of the country's exclusive economic zone. Abu vowed, we will continue to work silently and diligently, for we are serving Filipino fishermen at sea. As long as they feel safe seeing us during their fishing operations, we know that we are doing our job well. Playing shepherd to Filipino fishers is a difficult and dangerous mission, but one that needs to be done. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, has noted that from January to March last year, maritime law enforcement agencies monitored the incursions of hundreds of Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea, particularly in the Pagasa Islands, Zamora Reef, Panata and Kota Islands, Ayungin Shoal, Quirino Atoll, and Bajo de Masinloc. The unauthorized and lingering presence of these vessels is a blatant infringement of Philippine sovereignty, the DFA said in a strongly worded statement. It also rejects the position of the Chinese Foreign Affairs Ministry that China enjoys sovereignty over Bajo de Masinloc. It was without basis in international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and is not recognized by the international community, the DFA said. The PCG must be commended for its prudent response to the Chinese provocation, coordinating with the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea and the DFA to address this issue through rules-based and peaceful approaches. We hope the administration will continue to backstop the PCG in carrying out its mission to protect our fishers against Chinese belligerents. And that's the editorial for Tuesday, March 29, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to their digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.